Hello, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. The doomsday clock has begun to wind down on both the WWE Championship reign of Kofi Kingston and Shane McMahon's time at the top as the man in charge of the show, as both the Beast Brock Lesnar and Kevin Owens showed up unannounced and much to everybody's surprise on tonight's episode of Smackdown Live. And I don't really know if tonight's Smackdown was really a very good show, or if this was just a case of Raw being so terrible last night that tonight's episode of Smackdown could essentially have just been Otis jiggling around and doing his little caterpillar worm and not much of anything else for the whole entirety of the 2 hours, and we would all be sitting here going, wow, Smackdown was so great, man. Smackdown Live, let's look at it. Let's bring the hammer down a little bit. Smackdown Live was a 2-hour-long show that scaled back on the wrestling big time. We had only 4 matches booked, only 3 of which actually took place, and they went very heavy on the bullshit and still managed not to really explain much of anything to us at all. And we are here to talk about it right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare, and you are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show Smackdown Live review. Let's do it.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
And don't get me wrong, you guys, there was a couple of very good things that happened on tonight's SmackDown Live. We have to be honest. That's what we do here. We are honest, if nothing else. So we would be lying to you if we sat here and told you that I thought tonight's show was a really good show. This was a decent show at best. We had 2 very big moments on this show, but case in point, this SmackDown Live began tonight with a 6-man tag. A 20-minute long 6-man tag, which didn't need to be 20 minutes long because it's combatants, the New Day, taking on the Revival and their new running buddy, Randy Orton, having this match. Can somebody tell me why? Why is this match happening? Kofi Kingston dispatched of Randy Orton at the Clash of Champions. There is no reason for this to still be going on, especially in light of the fact that Kofi Kingston is going to be moved on to much bigger, much scarier, much more beastly type things in the form of Brock Lesnar. So this match, as long as it was and as good as some of the wrestling was in this matchup, you can't shit on Randy Orton being in a matchup. The Revival I could care really less about seeing anymore. I just want to know where they're headed in the tag team division, and them having the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships is almost nauseating to me since they're a Raw branded show, and none of that really matters anymore, so we're not going to harp on it too much. But this 6-man tag was just another in the long-running gag of WWE Productions, where we're just going to have a 6-man tag on every single show, both times a week. Every time you tune into WWE, you're going to see a 6-man or a 6-woman tag or some sort of a multi-person tag of some sort, and it's disinteresting, and when you keep showing it to me over and over and over again, it becomes less and less special, and there's no need for this match to be happening at all. But the match did happen nonetheless. Almost 20-plus minutes. 25 minutes this match went, only for the New Day to get the win, as Kofi Kingston would hit the Trouble in Paradise on Scott Dawson. As much shenanigans were going on the outside of the ring, the New Day wins. But like I said, that's not the story here. Neither is Randy Orton. Who knows where he is going to be moved to? Hopefully he is shifted over to SmackDown Live, where maybe he will be the one to free us from the reigns of Seth Rollins as the champion, since he wants to beat everybody. I don't think he'll be able to beat a Viper Randy Orton at his top level as he's getting up there. I know he just got beat by Kofi Kingston, so what's this guy talking about? But Randy Orton's still fucking Randy Orton, and I think that would be much more interesting than everything they got going on Monday Night Raw. But really, we're not here to talk about Raw. We're talking about the direction of Kofi Kingston moving along to Brock Lesnar, as Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar came out to a huge ovation, and there was some sort of a weird miscommunication as these two guys tried to get in the ring at the same time or something. It was very awkward, very not Brock Lesnar like. Brock Lesnar sporting a little bit of a peach fuzz going on, maybe joining the ranks of the bearded bunch like the rest of us. Brock Lesnar sporting a beautiful little 5 o'clock shadow. Looking pretty good, looking pretty beastly. Coming out there setting his sights on Kofi Kingston. Making the challenge, not for Hell in the Cell, but throwing down the gauntlet to the champion on the debut edition of SmackDown when it moves to Friday nights on Fox. And where have you guys heard that before? I seem to remember a certain very handsome gentleman back a couple of weeks ago speculating that it is very WWE-like to do something very much in this light. You want to have something momentous, something huge going down on the first episode of SmackDown Live. Now, you brought Brock Lesnar to SmackDown. You have hyped this match. You have made this match for SmackDown Live. And Brock Lesnar is going to end Kofi Mania as SmackDown Live begins on Fox in just a few weeks. And I would like to say that this was a great championship run for Kofi Kingston. I don't think anybody at this point should be pissed off if the belt goes to somebody else, regardless who it is. Who knows what Brock Lesnar's future is going to be? If he's going to be the face of the SmackDown Live brand, you'd have to believe he's going to have to be around. Maybe he's not going to be an absentee champion, but Kofi Kingston has done nothing but good as a WWE champion. He's had some great championship title defenses. His run was fantastic, and this would be a great way to cap it off by losing to the Beast. And who knows, maybe somewhere down the line Kofi Kingston gets some sort of comeuppance against Brock Lesnar. Maybe he never beats him again for the WWE Championship, but maybe he wins in an ODQ match or something and gets some sort of a way to get his pound of flesh back from the Beast and have some reciprocation to make him look good down the line. Even if that never comes, Kofi Kingston should not hang his head on his championship reign when it comes to an end on the first episode of SmackDown when we move to Fox in just a few weeks. Come on, you guys, let's be honest. Even if you're the biggest Kofi Kingston fan, you have to admit the odds are against him. There is no way they are going to have Kofi Kingston beat Brock Lesnar on Fox on the first. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. If it does happen, maybe we are in store for some change. Maybe something even more. What more momentous could it be than Brock Lesnar capturing the championship from a very popular Kofi Kingston? Who knows, man? Who knows what's in the card? This company is absolutely crazy. So who the hell knows what's going on? We'll have to wait and find out. We come back from the break. Kayla Braxton is in the back with Sasha Banks and the SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley. Banks calls Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch a jealous wannabe and says she isn't worried about facing her at Hell in a Cell. Becky Lynch has never been in a Hell in a Cell match before. Sasha Banks, we all know, has, and she did it against Charlotte Flair. And later on tonight, she's going to take Charlotte Flair. And then Bayley will take Charlotte Flair on in action. I should finish one sentence before I begin the next one, right, you guys? And then Bayley starts to speak for Sasha, says Sasha's not going to answer any questions to you, Miss Kayla Braxton, pertaining to Charlotte Flair, because she's going to do all her talking and answer all her questions in the ring, and then they walk off. We take a look back at Luke Harper returning at the Clash of Champions, helping Erick Rowan. Michael Cole, everybody's favorite nitwit, is in the back with Rowan for this sit-down interview. Rowan and Cole had absolutely zero chemistry. Rowan, I don't understand where this guy's coming from. He's saying that nobody's going to disrespect him anymore. He's coming off and using that character trait where he's standing up for himself. He's not going to follow anybody anymore. He does what he wants to do, and nobody is going to disrespect him. And I'm failing to come up with the moment where we have seen Erick Rowan be disrespected by anybody prior to Daniel Bryan smacking the taste out of his mouth after he found out he lied to him. Now, we're talking about a plan that has been going on for months at this point, way before that incident happened. So where was he disrespected? I don't understand it. I don't understand where he's coming from. I don't understand what triggered this guy. And I really didn't care too much about what was being said in this interview. And it only turned into something reminiscent of JR when he was talking to Kane or talking to Triple H. back in the Attitude Era, and Erick Rowan was getting frustrated with Michael Cole's line of questioning. Michael Cole asked about Luke Harper. If you want to know about Luke Harper, when you go and ask about Luke Harper to Luke Harper, why don't you have a question for me? He did ask you a question. You should have said, why don't you have a question about me? Maybe then your argument would have stood on 2 feet a little bit, but you said, why don't you have a question for me? He asked you a question, you big bald doofus. He very much clearly asked you, what the hell is going on with you and Luke Harper? Which is a great question, which I would love an answer to, but then you misdirected. We got no answers. Lots of bullshit, but no explanation. We have no reason to understand this guy's mindset. Oh, he's just wanting to hurt Roman Reigns. Why? Because he's been in the spotlight and Erick Rowan hasn't been? Erick Rowan has been in some of the biggest main events over the last 5 years. When he was part of the Wyatt family, he was being pushed to the goddamn moon. Multiple-time tag team champion. Where was he being overlooked? After the Wyatt family broke up? Is that what he's referencing? Because before then, I think you were looked pretty high up on the totem pole. You big dummy. Dummy, yeah. That's what I said. Rowan starts to talk about people like Michael Cole and Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan and the rest of the WWE may think he's just some background player, that he wasn't ever meant to be anything big, but he's not a puppet. What are you talking about? You're not a puppet. All we've seen of you is being a puppet. You might as well be made of fabric and be put right on Bray Wyatt's hand. You were Bray Wyatt's henchman, then you were nothing more than Luke Harper's partner, and then you went and followed Daniel Bryan. Where are you not a puppet, bro? None of this makes sense. Rowan says Daniel Bryan's biggest mistake was thinking they were intellectual equals. He goes on and on and on about how he's better than Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, and everyone will learn to never disrespect him again. I'm still waiting for the first incident, the first example of this disrespect, but we will get none. That's the end of the interview. He didn't get physical with Cole. Nothing interesting happened. We just saw a big, bald, ginger beard doofus talking to one of the least liked commentators in the history of professional wrestling, and it went on and on and on, and said absolutely nothing. Great use of your time. This was a very good show. This was a great show. 6-man tag right into this. And then we get a little bit excited, right? Because we are going to get Ali. I'm always a big fan of Ali. His in-ring work is fantastic. And he's going to be taking on the Intercontinental Champion, Shinsuke Nakamura. Maybe we are going to get a decent matchup. And maybe we are going to see some good wrestling on this night. I love watching these two guys lock up. Maybe we're going to start down a path where Ali gets his chance at the Intercontinental Championship like he deserved and was pushed to the side for The Miz for some godforsaken reason. But this is the match on the night that was booked, that we were promised, that did not happen, thanks to Sami Zayn being that yippity-yip-yip dog for Shinsuke Nakamura, just agitating the shit out of everybody, sitting there talking shit about Ali, and then not really allowing this match to get started, ordering Shinsuke Nakamura to deliver a Kinshasa after they double-teamed and sneak-attacked Ali. And now we'll probably be headed towards a rematch and having Ali on this Intercontinental Championship hunt, but this was a very bullshit way of going about it, don't you think? I would have much rather there have actually been a match, and maybe Sami Zayn got involved at the end. That would make more sense. Let these guys show the world what they can do. Don't just have this segment that is about the Intercontinental Championship and supposedly about its up-and-coming challenger be overshadowed and have the spotlight truly be shown on Sami Zayn, who has little to nothing to do with the match. He's just the manager. He shouldn't be overshadowing the talents involved. And that's kind of what happened with the booking of this segment. And I don't know if they just didn't think they had enough time to put on a decent match. Maybe if you would have scaled back on all the shit that Sami Zayn had to say, cut the Erick Rowan interview directly in half, because you didn't need much of that shit. It was him just repeating himself over and over and over again. So if you would have just had him say it once, you would have had plenty of time to have a match here. and scale back on all the rest of the bullshit for the rest of the night, we could have had a decent match up here. With a no contest, maybe a double disqualification, a no count out, something to make things interesting. Nobody loses. And we build momentum towards a championship matchup, probably culminating at the Hell in a Cell. Or maybe even on October 4th. If they want to run the gun and do that too and have both championships defended, go ahead, do it. Do it, but do it right. Don't do it so fucking lazily like this. And the other way that they disrespected this whole entire Intercontinental Championships segment is, even though Sami Zayn's in the ring, his best buddy, Kevin Owens, decides to come out into the crowd. He's walking with security, which is a little bit of a tell. Hello, guys. He's supposed to be a fan. What kind of fans walk around an arena with security? Only people that are involved with the company do that. So if you wanted to sell the illusion of him joining ringside as a fan, sitting there in a seat like a fan, you could have had the security at least lay back a couple of feet, bro, and let Kevin Owens... He's a big boy. He could take care of himself. I don't think he has to worry too much, and I think if anything happened, security would be able to descend upon the incident rather quickly. Just little touches that kind of pissed me off, because I noticed these things, and you might not have even noticed the big goon behind him, but I did. And it just doesn't play into the story you're trying to tell, because fans don't walk around with security. Anyway, this all turned into everybody's favorite Shane McMahon segment. Sweat Stain McStuntman and Kevin Owens, and their beef has been going on for far too long. Shane McMahon sees Kevin Owens going to his seat after the whole incident with Ali and Nakamura and Sami Zayn came to its conclusion. A referee walks in to tell Shane McMahon what he's watching. He's watching it happen, and the goofball referee's like, Shane, Kevin Owens is here. Like he's not watching it. Did you not see what the guy was watching on TV? Kevin Owens' face was on the screen. You had to... Let's move on. This guy walks out of the office, says somebody's here to see you. Shane McMahon follows this jerk-off referee, and he gets served with some papers. I thought in the envelope was going to be a rag of some sort for him to wipe all the sweat beads from his forehead. I thought maybe his dad seen it in the back or had it, on a closed-circuit television. Do they even have closed-circuit TVs in these places? Anyway, let's not get sidetracked. Anyway, so Vince McMahon's watching in the back. He's like, oh my God, look at the gigantic boulders of sweat rolling off his head. Somebody take this manila envelope and put a towel in it and bring it to my son, or you're fired. But it wasn't a rag to wipe the droplets of sweat. It was a summons sent to him by Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is about to sue Shane McMahon and the WWE for wrongful termination for the ridiculous sum of $25 million. Shane McMahon makes his way out to the ring. He's holding his stupid papers in his hand the whole time. He points to Kevin Owens in the crowd, and he tells security, and he says to Kevin Owens, get your ass in this ring. He didn't say get your ass in this ring, but he tells Kevin Owens to come down to the ring. We are going to talk this out and work everything out right now. Shane says he's holding the largest wrongful termination lawsuit in history. Shane says Kevin Owens will be awarded $25 million if he wins. Kevin Owens then interrupts him. He tells him to shut his stupid mouth. He said, you want to know what I want to say? And you won't shut up long enough for me to say anything, which is one of the problems with this show. Kevin Owens, again, begins to echo all of the sentiments we say here on this show, calling him a dumbass, which was my favorite part of the whole thing. Shane says he barely read the papers, but Owens' case is weak, just like he is. Kevin Owens retorts, saying that he has a strong case, and Shane has ruined SmackDown. He brings up how Shane fined him for attacking the special guest referee, Elias, and then Shane attacked Kevin Owens, who was a special guest referee in the King of the Ring semifinals, doing the exact same thing that Kevin Owens did, but gets nothing. Shane didn't get fined. And then he fired Kevin Owens for being an insubordinate. Meanwhile, Shane McMahon was the one that couldn't get the job done. Shane McMahon was the one that tapped out. Owens said he's tried to reason with you. He's tried to fight Shane. He even went out on a limb and tried to help Kevin Owens. Tried to help Shane McMahon last week. But now all he wants to do is hurt Shane McMahon. And the best way to do that is to target the man's wallet and his pride. Kevin Owens then goes on to say this is about more than money. He has a legitimate case. Shane McMahon knows it. And it has more in the fine print. And because Shane didn't read the whole contract before he came out and started spouting off his mouth, there is a clause in there that Kevin Owens is teasing the fact that when all is said and done, Shane McMahon is going to be fired by Kevin Owens. That would be fantastic. We are just days away at this point from being free, from having to use our umbrellas when we watch SmackDown Live. You won't have to put on your rain gear anymore. You won't have to wear your little galoshes. You won't have to put windshield wipers on your glasses. You won't have to do any of those things because Shane McMahon and his terroring rain of sweat. That's a terrible rain. But his disgusting reign of terror and the droplets of sweat that have stained SmackDown Live just might be headed somewhere else. And we will have Kevin Owens to thank for that. We go to the backstage where we see Daniel Bryan in deep thought and nothing else. We then see Charlotte Flair backstage with her daddy, the man that owns the phrase, the man and everything that his four horsemen fingers touches. Woo! The nature boy, Ric Flair, was on SmackDown Live, and this was totally necessary for absolutely zero reasons. We had Austin last week, we had Taker last week, we had Kane last night, we see Mick Foley, now we got Ric Flair. The parade of legends continue for no apparent reason whatsoever. We go to a vignette for the Authors of Pain, or the Kevin Owens twins. We talked about that on the live Raw review last night. If you missed any of that, you missed a good show. Go check that out. We went off on this little promo. While I appreciate the repackaging, I appreciate them taking a serious tone, it seems kind of a little 180 from where they were coming from. These guys were mercenaries that were just looking to kill people. You know, there was no talk about money and prize fighting and fighting for purses and things of that. But we gotta forgive all that. All we have to hope is that they take this re-energizing of the AOP and this repackaging of them and use it seriously and let's get them on track. Let's not put them back out there beating down Dick and Rick Mogul from Levittown, Pennsylvania. I don't know why those are the things that just came rolling out of my mouth, but that's what we do here. We're a creative bunch here at the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. All this leading to Charlotte Flair versus Sasha Banks. We come back from the break, and there's this guy in the ring, and he looks like Snoop Dogg, only completely shrunk down. Like, you know how Snoop Dogg walks around in the Ric Flair robe? There's this little miniature version of Snoop Dogg, and he's in his Ric Flair robe. And then they said his name is One Step or Two Step or On Step, Blue Step, Red Step. I don't know. Off center, off kilter. Who cares? Who cares? I don't know who this guy is. Apparently he calls himself Lil Nate, I guess. I don't know. I don't care. I'm a fan of rap music. Good rap music. I don't know much of today's rap because there's not much very good rap. If you guys know some good hip-hop that's out there that maybe you could put me onto, and don't be putting any fucking Post Malone or any of these weird wheezy, cheesy, sneezies guys. No, I'm not into it. I'm not into it. Give me some DMX, give me some Ja Rule, give me some NWA. That's rap, motherfuckers. These guys today, I don't know, they're all a bunch of auto-tuned, tattooed up, dreadlock-wearing copycats. That's a different topic for a different thing. This is what happens because, what the frig is his name? Offset of Migos. What is this guy, from the Greek Isles? I don't know anything about it, and I apologize. Please don't take offense. We're just trying to have fun. Offset. 1 step, 2 step, red step, blue step. Wearing the Ric Flair robe. Came out there to say Charlotte Flair's name, I guess. I don't know. He was there for 2 shakes of a wagon's tail, and then he was gone. Charlotte Flair comes out. Sasha Banks comes out, and we get a Charlotte versus Sasha match. And I say we get a Charlotte versus Sasha match because there was not much in this match that can differentiate it from any of the other times that we've seen these 2 girls go at it when they first were called up just a couple of years ago. This is just them whetting our appetite for something down in the future. And this match went on, again, way too long for it just to have a disqualification finish. But that's where things get even more wonky. While Charlotte versus Sasha put on a semi-decent matchup for the women's division, doing what these girls do best is what they're supposed to do. So you shouldn't be surprised. Oh, surprising. Oh, such a great match. No, you shouldn't be surprised. This is what they do. It should be at least passable. And tonight, they were passable. What isn't passable was what happened after the fact. After the fact, you have Bayley causing the disqualification, Sasha and Bayley taking advantage of the situation, jumping Charlotte Flair. Immediately in your mind, each and every one of you guys, I know, thought just like me, oh, here's the predictable, where the man's going to come out. She's probably going to come out swinging a chair. Maybe we're going to have another chair staring contest like we had on Raw last night. Who knows what's going to happen? And then WWE throws a curveball, and not the good kind of curveball that'll strike a motherfucker out. It's a curveball that ends up going the other way and hits the guy, and now you got to take a base, putting your team now in jeopardy of losing the whole entire game. Nice move, jerk-off. You send out Carmella? Carmella, what is the point of Carmella? Doesn't she have a Hey I'm a Clown 24/7 avocado gold-plated championship belt to be hiding around with? Thank God we didn't see any of that bullshit tonight, but I don't understand what the hell this girl was doing out there. Oh, well, she was Bayley's friend. She was Bayley's buddy. Baymella. What does that have to do with anything? Was she inserted into this scenario to make us really believe that Bayley is a babyface, or is it to make us know that Bayley is a heel because she's pissed at Bayley, or is it to make us believe that Charlotte is turning babyface because we had Carmella coming out, the Princess of Staten Island, saving the Queen? And I'm very confused by it all. Very confused by it all. But this was a great show, right, you guys? Please, give me a break. Winner by DQ, Charlotte Flair. We had the Carmella interference after the match. And then we had the coronation of Baron Corbin. And here we go, you guys. Every once in a while, we have to scale it back ourselves. And we've been critical of Corbin since day one. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh my God, I'm completely turned around. I'm through the moon and over the boots and any kind of fucking phrase you want to use. I don't know if over the boots is a phrase, but I just used it. So there you go. Take it if you want to. I'm not all in on Baron Corbin. Not one bit. But you would be an asshole if you didn't give him credit for the work that he put out in this King of the Ring tournament. Followed by and including this coronation, which I thought was great. I still feel like it should have happened last night, immediately following the King of the Ring, as it usually does. But the WWE took 24 hours to get their pieces in play, and they pulled off a pretty decent coronation. Baron Corbin came out there, nauseated the shit out of every one of us as he stripped down from his waiter's uniform and slowly put that robe on and then put the crown on his head. And now I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe this won't be so bad. He's going to be a good heel king. I think it's going to make for a great villain. He looked like a schmuck in the outfit, which always makes it even better. When you look bad, but you think you look good, it makes you an even better villain. And I thought maybe just for a second that this was going to work. And then Chad Gable comes out. He was called out by Baron Corbin. And then the tidal wave of short jokes were constantly thrown at this guy. And I'm not going to come down on it because we continuously come down on it all the time, and I'm tired of sounding like a broken record. I don't understand why they go down the bullying route. I understand these are characters on a TV show, and maybe you're going to try to show kids how to overcome and persevere past people who use these things. But if you're a company that's trying to be anti-bully, then why not show the world how this goes without being an asshole bully, picking on people for attributes that they have, or skin colors, or things of that nature. It's all one and the same, so if you're doing it to one, you should be able to do it to all, and since you can't do it to all, you shouldn't do it to any. Chad Gable and his short status included. That being said, that was my least favorite part of the whole thing. My absolute most favorite part of the coronation came right at the end when Chad Gable just about had enough. He destroyed Baron Corbin. He took down the throne. He stomped the crown, very reminiscent of Jerry the King Lawler when he took out Bret Hart in the 1993 King of the Ring, stomping the crown in the very same way, tossing the throne in a very similar manner. It gave me goosebumps just because it made me relive that moment while I was watching this. And while the dynamic between the heel and face is off in the scenarios, it definitely made for a momentous occasion. Chad Gable got over in this moment. If he didn't get over on his own just based off of his performance in the King of the Ring itself, he got over tonight in this segment without having to win the King of the Ring, without having to actually beat Baron Corbin in a match. All he had to do was beat his ass and tear down the throne room. And Chad Gable now had everybody behind him. It was a great moment. It was a whole lot of fun. And that's what wrestling is supposed to feel like. Within those 3 minutes, I was like, holy shit, I'm watching a Baron Corbin segment. He's the king of the ring. One of the things I didn't want to happen more than anything in all the professional wrestling happening right now. And I'm enjoying myself. What world is this? Who am I? What is my name? I know who I am, so I'm not going crazy. We are not having a stroke. Everything is A-okay, people. Everything is A-okay. And Chad Gable was made in the process. You can't shit on that. If you're going to sit here and be negative on that while a guy like me is being positive about it, then you have to reassess yourself as a wrestling fan. Because I speak the truth. When something's bad, I tell you it's bad. When something's good, I tell you it's good. And this was very good. And having Baron Corbin and very good in the same vernacular, in the same sentence, within the same couple of seconds, doesn't seem right to me at all. It feels all kind of icky, actually, and I feel kind of gross. But it is what it is. Call a spade a spade. This was a great, great fucking segment. Made even greater by this one little added touch. And again, we're not jumping on the Corbin bandwagon, but when the guy is standing there hunched over at the edge of the ramp just outside the ring, literally sobbing and crying due to the actions of Chad Gable. This guy was crying. Near 7 feet tall, tough as nails. I don't take no shit. I don't care about the crowd. I don't care what anybody thinks. And he's sitting there. Chad Gable broke my crown. Fucking great. Great. More of that, please. Less of what's coming up next. Heavy Machinery taking on the B Team. And while I appreciate the fact that they didn't take on Rick and Dick Dumfrey from Levittown, Pennsylvania, and that they actually were given a real tag team to face, when you say the B Team and real tag team, you might as well have been better off facing Rick and Dick. I mean, it's about the same thing. This was nothing. I feel like this match was more to debut Otis Dozovich's new ring gear, which is showing his body in all its glory, and it's disgusting. It's absolutely... I'm a big guy. You know, I'm not like a huge guy, but, you know, I got a little spare tire going on. I got some stuff jiggling where it shouldn't be jiggling, so, you know, I think that I'm allowed to say that you look gross, bro, and put your goddamn shirt back on. Anyway, this match was uneventful. It didn't mean much of anything. The Heavy Machinery defeat the B Team. We saw the Caterpillar and the Compactor Heavy Machinery win. And that was pretty much the end of that. After the break, they go back again and show us earlier about what happened between Brock Lesnar and Kofi Kingston and how Lesnar got the one-up on Kofi Kingston, which I forgot to mention earlier in this review, that whole altercation ended up with the champion taking an F5 from his new challenger, and we got to see that in the replay here. Then out comes Daniel Bryan, and he's all serious, he's all pissed off. He, much like me, has told the fans that whether he's good or whether he's bad, the one thing he has never done is lie to any of us. He has always been true to his word, he sticks to his guns, and he said he was not behind the actions and the evil shit that was happening to Roman Reigns, and it has been proven. He has been vindicated. Everything is fine in the world of Daniel Bryan as far as it pertains to that. But then he starts to talk about Erick Rowan, and Daniel Bryan is coming at this thing the same way I am. Erick Rowan feels disrespected and invisible, but Bryan's standing there saying, I'm the one that saw you. Exactly, you had people in your corner. How do you feel invisible? And he feels disrespected. Daniel Bryan never disrespected him. Daniel Bryan says he saw potential in Rowan. He's seen his raw talent, his intellectual capabilities, and how special the man actually was. Overselling it a little bit, if you ask me. Daniel Bryan said he didn't just see Rowan as his equal, he saw him as his friend. Then Rowan's music hits, he comes out and he starts talking some shit. Nobody really cared. I stopped paying attention. It says here that Rowan started to point out how Daniel Bryan never asked him how he felt about anything, and that's certainly not true. We have seen him ask this gigantic monkey questions on SmackDown Live. So right there, that's wrong. Rowan says that he will never be disrespected again. Once again, never mentioning a moment where he has been disrespected, and there's nothing that Daniel Bryan can physically do about that. And then Luke Harper comes out of nowhere, blindsides Daniel Bryan. The two of them gain a 2-on-1 advantage, and much like the segment earlier in the evening with the women, the 2-on-1 overpowering gets evened up by somebody coming out that doesn't really make much sense as it pertains to the person getting attacked. Now, Daniel Bryan, is he not a villain anymore? I'm not understanding. Again, I am confused. Where are we going with the character of Daniel Bryan? Is he on the good side? Is he on the bad side? It's not that I need you to tell me whether I need to boo or cheer. I just need to know where his alignment is, because you're going to have him teaming with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns coming out to make the save, purely based off of his involvement with Erick Rowan and Luke Harper. Obviously. But you know where this is leading. And how are Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns going to coexist? The only thing that could save this is the fact that Daniel Bryan is putting over and continuously telling us how much he has always been truthful and never lies to us. That maybe this is the one time he's pulling everybody's leg. And we are going to have this Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns team up, which will make no sense whatsoever, to go against Harper and Rowan, only to have Daniel Bryan be revealed as the mastermind between the whole thing the whole time. He is the one in charge of Rowan and Harper, and now you have Bryan, Rowan, and Harper as another trio in the WWE, and their target was Roman Reigns the whole time. Daniel Bryan got everybody, ha ha ha, we all fell for it, and that would be a good way to go about it. Other than that, what am I supposed to do with Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan on the same side right now? And why would you put Daniel Bryan even this much of a heel light? I'm sorry, in a babyface light, when he's doing the best heel work of anybody on the main roster. His Captain Planet gimmick is fucking great. He doesn't even need Erick Rowan. He could be on his own. I don't know why you would take that from him and make him a babyface once again, putting him side by side with Roman Reigns. I feel the turn. I feel the double swerve coming. So if it doesn't, I will be very upset. I will be very surprised, and I will be here to hammer it down for you when it does, in fact, go down. A referee decides to check on Daniel Bryan as Rowan and Harper stand over him. They were throwing Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan all over the arena. They were going through announce tables, into steel ring posts, through the steel steps. It was madness, as WWE loves to book for the finales of their show in 2019. Very reminiscent of all of the things that we have seen from Brown Spray Tan, the gigantic 7-foot waisted snowman, Braun the Strowman. And what's better than one bearded moron breaking up everything around ringside? Two bearded morons. I don't know why I just turned into the Count from Sesame Street. That is probably a sign that I am way too tired to continue, and that, ladies and gentlemen, was the end of your SmackDown Live review. That's everything that they threw at us in 2 hours. Not very much wrestling, a whole lot of exposition without actually expositing anything to us. We have no reason or actual defined course that Erick Rowan took. Like, I know that's not the way I probably should have said that, but I'm losing my words here. And it's just, we have no clear-cut indication as to why Erick Rowan did what he did. Is he at the behest of somebody else? Is this Luke Harper's plan at the end of the day? What is going on? We didn't see The Fiend tonight, which is probably good because we've seen him a little bit too much last night, in my opinion. And of course, that is a different show, and we want them to keep the brands as split as possible just to keep things easier. We have the draft coming up in a few weeks. I'm very much looking forward to that. We got the first episode of SmackDown Live. Of Friday Night SmackDown on Fox coming in a couple of weeks. We got AEW about to hit the airwaves, and tomorrow night we got NXT on USA for the first time. The 2-hour format. Triple H coming with his guns loaded, ready to take on AEW with everything that he's got. So I expect it to be a very good, very different show. We've seen the promos throughout the shows all weekend long by the WWE, and they state very clearly, if you want no BS, then this is the show for you. I don't know why they would run ads taking shots at themselves, but hey, to each his own. Let the WWE do what they got to do. We are all going to be tuning into NXT, whether you watch it tomorrow night live on USA or whether you watch it on the WWE Network, if in fact it is still over there, which I definitely hope it is once AEW comes around, because I'm going to have to be flipping channels and going back and forth and reanalyzing things and reshuffling our schedule here at Sledgehammer TV, and we're going to figure it out. And you guys can always make your suggestions down in the comments section below. Let me know what you guys thought of tonight's SmackDown Live. What was your favorite part of tonight? There were a couple of good parts, but like I said, there was still plenty of things wrong that we were able to pick apart. What do you guys find wrong? What do you think I missed? Let me know. That's what the comment section is there for you guys to do. Don't forget to smash that like button if you enjoyed anything we had to do or say on today's show, and then share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world, especially if you guys are somewhat on the fence with whether or not tonight's SmackDown Live was indeed a very good show. Don't forget to check out last night's Monday Night Raw live Nick Nightmare Birthday Bash Monday Night Raw roasting spectacular. It was over an hour of awesome content on this channel. Thank you to every single one of you guys that came out during the stream last night. We had a whole lot of fun in the chat room. It was great seeing you guys there. Hope to see you guys here in the comments and stuff once again tonight. The live thing's not going to be done very often. It was so tough, man. And if you can hear it, my voice is straining enough as it is. And we still got one more review to go before we close out this week. So let's wrap everything up. And don't forget to check out everything else on this channel. It will be linked in the annotations up above. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the team. Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. His tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue the Snowball. The most important member of the team, as always, is each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here. That is going to do it, and we are out of here, and we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV right here on YouTube.com. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And we will see you for the first time on a Wednesday night, tomorrow night, for NXT on USA. Good night, you guys.